年々ころり、こんころり。鬼が来ようとこんころり。息も忘れてこんころり。腹の中でもこんころり。もう、目覚めることはできないよ。
The Demon Slayer movie Mugen Train continues to break records in Japan, but how can you watch the anime film in the US and around the world? Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba is arguably one of the best and most popular anime series in the world right now, so it's understandable that fans are desperate for new content. Immediately following the finale of Demon Slayer Season 1 in September 2019, it was announced by writers of the series Ufotable on Twitter that the next project would be a feature film. The movie would be called Mugen Train and would be a direct continuation from Season 1, with Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu and Nezuko boarding the Infinity Train after 40 people were reported missing on the locomotive. However, fans want to know how they will be able to watch the Demon Slayer movie, including what date it will release outside Japan and which sites will be streaming the film. Demon Slayer, has a release date for Season 2 been officially revealed? Mugen Train, Japan release date. The Demon Slayer, Mugen Train anime movie released on Friday, October 16 in cinemas across Japan. After a record-breaking opening weekend, the official Demon Slayer Twitter account has revealed that Mugen Train has made more than 10 billion yen, $95 million, in just 10 days. The anime movie now holds the records for the best opening weekend and the best second weekend at the Japanese box office with nearly 8 million people watching the film. It was revealed in late September that the movie would also be released simultaneously on IMAX across the island nation in all 38 IMAX theaters. The Demon Slayer, Mugen Train movie will release outside of Japan for fan screening in December 2020 and January 2021. With general screening starting February 2021. Aniplex of America has officially licensed the Mugen Train movie and said they would release the film theatrically in North America in 2021. On October 16, GSC Cinemas announced on Twitter that fan screening would happen on December 5, 2020 and January 23, 2021, with general screening scheduled for February 4, 2021. It is currently unknown whether a similar partnership will be made with theaters outside of North America, but certain theaters are likely to ask for special permission to showcase Mugen Train. According to reports, the special IMAX version would make use of the enhanced sound that comes with the format to give viewers the experience of being inside the battle when Tanjiro uses his water-breathing techniques. Depending on the success of the release of Mugen Train in IMAX cinemas in Japan, a similar licensing deal could be made for IMAX cinemas around the world, with 41 countries currently possessing official IMAX venues. However, it is important to note that international releases entirely depend on the theaters being open, which remains uncertain considering the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. More information on the international release of Demon Slayer Mugen Train is expected to be revealed in the next few weeks. So keep checking in for the latest updates. Will the Demon Slayer movie be streaming on Funimation or Crunchyroll? At the time of writing, there is no information to suggest that the Demon Slayer movie will be releasing on Funimation, Crunchyroll or other streaming services. However, fans are expecting that the movie will be made available on streaming platforms at some point following the theatrical release. The most likely platform to showcase the movie first would be Funimation, with the North American theatrical release by Aniplex of America being produced in partnership with Funimation Films. Although the anime series remains extremely popular on other streaming platforms such as Crunchyroll and Hulu, so the movie may become available on these sites a few months after the Funimation premiere.